In this video, we are going to learn about Docker Compose service names and how containers communicate using service names. Service names are automatic domain name system, that is, DNS entries, created by Docker Compose for each service defined in your Compose file. These entries enable containers to discover and communicate with each other, using the service name instead of IP addresses. Here is a basic Docker Compose YAML file structure. It starts with the version of the Compose file format such as 3.8. Then we define the services. Each service represents a container. In this example, we have 3 services. The first one is Web, which uses the Nginx image. The second one is Database, which uses the Postgres image. The third one is Application Programming Interface or API, which uses the Node version 16 image. Docker Compose creates internal domain name system, that is, DNS entries, so containers can reach each other by service name. For example, the web service can communicate with the database service using the name database, and the API service can also communicate with the database service using the name database. Here is an example of how to connect to a database from inside an API container using Python. First, import the scicop2 library. Then, connect to the database using the service name database as the host, myapp as the database name, and Postgres as the user. Use service names with internal ports for container-to-container communication. For example, to access the web service on port 80, use http://web:80. To access the database service on port 5432, use database:5432. Here is a complete example of a Docker Compose file. The web service depends on the API service, which means the API service will be started before the web service. The API service has an environment variable db_host set to database, which is the service name of the database service. This allows the API service to connect to the database service using the service name database. Service names provide automatic domain name system, that is, DNS resolution between containers. Also, use internal ports for container-to-container communication. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.